He's walked up to security. Now, it's very busy. It's the school holidays. He's mingled with a family, or several families actually, and it appears from the CCTV footage it looks like he's part of that party. When you approach security, of course, security is looking principally for any threats, and he's gone through a security process. The thing that's led us down is he hasn't had a boarding card at that point, and that's been missed. We are now investigating that and taking that extremely seriously.
Yeah, I mean, apart from the boarding card, there are other opportunities, aren't there, to check ID? I mean, the passport check, for instance. Presumably there were a number of points, including the points at which he got on the plane, where
Absolutely.
he simply wasn't checked.
Security is the first point where you check whether somebody is supposed to be in the area, and clearly he wasn't. Now, once he went straight from security, at no point is he distressed. It's a bit of an adventure for him, obviously. He heads straight to the nearest aircraft that's boarding, which happens to be this Jet 2 flight to Rome. At that point, there should be checks for, does he have a boarding card, does he have a passport that matches the boarding card, does he have a seat, and ultimately the head count on board. All of those checks didn't pick him up. That is also subject to the same major investigation. It's that element where staff have been suspended.
How was it discovered that he was not where he should be? Who finally found out that he was in the wrong place?
Well, we understand from the airline that he was obviously very excitable. He's seen this as a bit of an adventure, and he has been returned safely to his parents. Obviously, we see it very differently, and it is being taken extremely seriously, but he's talking about the experience on board the aircraft. Passengers have heard him, they've reported him to the crew, so by the time the flight landed in Rome, the authorities knew to expect him, and he was given a sympathetic and tasteful welcome, and then brought home. He was reunited with his parents last night.
Yeah, I mean, it raises so many questions, doesn't it? I mean, you've already touched on the child's welfare, and it sounds from what you're saying that he's fine. But the questions remain for you, the airport and the airline, about a massive breach of security.
To be clear, it's not technically a breach of security. The boy posed no threat to the aircraft. He went through a security process. This isn't a loophole in airport security. He should have had checks to make sure that he had access to the departure lounge and ultimately to the aircraft. Those things didn't work. You're absolutely right to say we have to answer for that. We are investigating it. We are taking it very, very seriously. But at a time when we're all thinking about aviation security, there's certainly no loophole here at Manchester. This is simply human error, which is extremely serious, about identity and being in the right place at the right time. That didn't happen, but there is no threat to the airport or the aircraft or passengers or staff.
And you'll understand at this point in time, because of the Olympics, security issues are heightened, aren't they? There is an issue, of course, over his passport control. I mean, you say there's not a loophole here, but you would assume that anyone leaving the country, coming to the country, has their passport checked, and somehow someone, in this case it happens to have been a child, has apparently gone through without anyone asking to see a passport. I mean, that is a major mess up. I mean, how will that work? I mean, do you know who it was who allowed him to go through? Is the evidence already there of exactly where that was and who that person was?
Well, obviously, I say we're taking it very seriously. We knew about this yesterday afternoon, and there is a very, very thorough investigation. We and the airline know the members of staff involved. Just bear in mind, when you're leaving the country, the passport check is simply to make sure that the name on your ticket is your name. The passport checks are carried out in the country when you arrive. Now, remember also the boy has been through security checks. He's not carrying anything. You're absolutely right. There were checks that should have been done to make sure he had permission to be in the right place, and ultimately he got on a flight with no documentation, and we and the airline have to answer for that, and we are investigating it right now. It's been taken extremely seriously. We want answers just as much as you want answers, and those will come in time. Important thing is the boy is back, the boy is safe, and at no point did he suffer any distress from this experience, but we are taking it very seriously and making sure that this can't happen again.